Tony, welcome to my video. This is part 3 of my build project, my Paul Reed Smith inspired travel size guitar. So I have here my travel size guitar body next to my custom 22 for a little comparison. If you want to know how I've gotten to this point, please check out part 1 and part 2 videos. The link is in the description below. For this part 3 video, I'll be focusing on setting the neck angle break as well as routing the various cavities of this guitar. And before we dive into that, let's review some of the features for this body. To recap, the size of this body is approximately 11 3/4 inches tall and just shy of 8.5 inches wide. And as I mentioned before, this guitar will have a 24 fret neck, which I will place the 22nd fret right around this point here. And with a 25.5 inch scale length, that places my bridge approximately here. I will have a humbucker down at the bridge location, approximately here. There will also be a neck pickup. To simplify it, I will have just a single volume control knob and a 3-way mini toggle switch onto the back. Now the control cavity will be right around here. For the back tuner system that I mentioned before, the cavity will be right here. And what that looks like is here. This is a top bridge tuner system for a headless guitar. And instead of mounting it on the top, I'll just be mounting it reverse on the back end. To illustrate this, I mocked this up on a cheap piece of wood, a headstock string through from the back to the top, down to where the top bridge would be, string through all the way to the back to control the tuning. So nothing too crazy, fairly simple, just using this one in a slightly different way. So I'll have the tuner system right about here. Okay, on to the next step. To find the neck angle break, I'm going to base that off on my custom 22. So I'm going to focus on this part right here. And I'm using a bubble level. I'm going to look for the point at which it is level, but then starts to slope away. So for my build, I will set my neck angle break right around 1/4 inch in front of the bridge. To find the angle of this neck plane, I'll be using this digital angle. I know there are many ways to be able to do this. For me, this might be an easier way, and I think that as long as you have a calibrated approach that is used consistently throughout the process, then you should be fine. All right, what I'll do is I will place this level here, and I'll start extending this arm till it is level. And to check that, I will be using this bubble level. So I'll keep this part flat, and then I'll start extending this out until this part is level. Okay. An angle of 2.5 degrees. Which seems to be fairly consistent with a lot of forum comments that I've seen around. All right, let's break. To create the angled neck plane, I'll be using this sliding router jig that I've set up. And basically what it consists of is a squared wood frame with PVC piping for railings, and then this top and with a slot that allows the router bit to go in between. That way I'll just slide back and forth and side to side. And to create the angle, I have here a mount that I've just adjusted and I've drilled into a level surface. And I've already gone ahead and set the right angle. And so now I will just mount the body using masking tape and double-sided sticky tape to secure it. Now, one change I've already made since I mentioned earlier about where the neck angle break will be. I said I would set it around 1/4 inch in front of the bridge, but after looking at my custom 22 a little bit more closely, I found that the neck angle break is probably truer closer to the pickup area. So I've gone ahead and marked where I think mine should be, and basically that is where the plane of the neck will match up to the plane of the level surface. So that vertex is essentially this line that I've created right here. All right. Okay, so it's pretty good. Now I'm just going to clean off the surface a little bit. Next, I measure the depth of the neck pocket, 13/16. Let's go ahead and mark it here. So now I will mark the depth accordingly. Okay, let me explain what I'm doing here. I actually want to preserve as much of this block here because I think I'll turn part of it into truss rod cover. So rather than using a Forstner bit and cutting this entire block out and wasting it away, I want to retain it by just cutting along here using a oscillating tool. It's a little unorthodox, but I'm going to give it a shot. Okay, now test it. Okay, my neck pocket depth is generally where I want it to be at this point. I'll refine it a little bit with some sanding after I shape this backing part to match the heel a little bit later on. But I wanted to point out a mishap that occurred right around here, as hopefully you can see. What had happened was that the router's base clamp was a little bit loose, and so there was about a 1/16 of an inch slippage, and I noticed it all in about a second or two, but it was too late, and so the damage had been done. So what I have to do later on, when I shape this part to match the heel, I'm going to have to get a filler piece and glue in here, and then resand down flush. So just something to point out that I think lessons learned is to make sure that your tools are in good working order. Anything that's supposed to be tight and secure is tight and secure. The collet was fine, but the base sleeve was not, and I should have checked that. Alright, on to the next step. Okay, so at this point I'm going to mark the locations for the bridge string through holes, the volume control knob, and the 3-way mini toggle switch. That way I can drill the holes all the way through the body in order to align the cavities for the tuner system and the controls. First I'll mark. Checking for alignment here. Yep, they are centered. Then I'll mark the switch. Then I'll mark the volume control. To help pilot the drill bit later, I'm just going to go ahead and create an indentation for those points. For these screw locations, I won't actually drill those yet. Alright, at this point I've drilled the bridge string through holes, volume control, and the 3-way switch. On the back, here are the string through holes, volume, and the switch. I've lined this up through some inspection, perfect. And this is where the tuning system will sit after I've routed out the cavity. And to help me with the cavities, I'll be using this template that I created using Microsoft PowerPoint. I'll be masking off this portion of the body, and then I'll apply this template using adhesive. Then I'll use a Forstner bit to gut out as much of the wood, and then I'll finish it off with routing. Alright, I didn't route the inside of the control cavity as cleanly, but I only wanted to take out what I needed to. I will refine the depth later on after I do the top carve. For now, we'll do a test fit. So here's the tuner system. Then here's the switch. I'm just going to put it upside down so we can see. Then the volume control. I think that's going to work out quite nicely. And now let's start peeling some of this stuff off. Next, I'll be working on the pickup routes. First, what I'll do is mask off the surface. That way I can apply my template using some adhesive spray. Here we go. Now apply adhesive to the back of my template. For this part, I'm just using straight edges that I have, and also be using these pickup route ends that I made out of acrylic. And the reason why I'm doing this is because some of the templates I've found out there create too large of a cavity for what I prefer for my travel size guitar. I don't have a whole lot of real estate to work with, so I only wanted to cut out what I need. And so I've created this template to where it is only about a 1/16 of an inch larger around the pickup that I'll be planning to use. And this way I can also expand it for when I build the 7-string version. So we'll get to it. now to peel it all back. Test here. The edges are not the cleanest, a little rough, but I think I can sand it out a little smoother. Alright, so here is the body now. I have set the angled neck plane. I've routed out the neck pocket to the 95% solution, and I'll work on the shaping a little bit later on. I've routed the pickup cavities. I've drilled the pilot holes for the volume control knob and the switch, as well as the bridge string through holes. I've routed out the backside of the control cavity and the tuner system. And here it is now, next to the custom 22 for scale. Again, the size of a sheet of paper. Alright, so that does it for this part. In the next video, I'll be working on creating that infamous Paul Reed Smith style top carve. Alright, if you enjoyed watching this video, please hit that like button. Thanks for watching.